Hi, this is Neville Shen with CDL Platinum. I'm here with Smitty, one of my awesome drivers with Dave Matthews, and we're just going over. We've been in this industry for a long time. I came from the guitar tech world and then got into busing, and now here I am trying to manage a company. But Smitty is still out getting ready to go out with Dave, and he's my lead guy out there. And we're just talking about like new guys, because the industry we're hiring. And this just isn't Pioneer, this is all bus companies. We're hiring in these new guys coming from seated coach world, coming from truck driving world, and they really don't know the nuances of the entertainment world, which is you're not a steering wheel holder, you're everything. I call it a hotel on wheels, so you're all the pieces that you would see in a hotel, including the maintenance guy and sometimes the bartender that's listening to goofy stories. And what we were talking about was what inspired me to all of a sudden hit play was we're talking like when you get a new driver out there and he might say something like, you got to take the trash. And I mean, you take the trash out daily, sometimes twice a day. Depends on if you got a bus, like maybe a 12 people on a bus or 13 people on the bus, and maybe you're lucky you only got 3 or 4. But part of your duty is making sure that it's tidy and it's clean. And Smitty gave a really cool, interesting story about a driver. We won't say the name, but explain what happened. And
you know, when you got crews or bands living on the bus, and you got a day off at a hotel, and you know, you come down to get ready to go, and you know, you go in, you take a look at the trash in the bathroom and stuff, and then you check your trash in your bus, and this new bus driver came down, and I said, you know, before we leave, why don't you check your trash? And he goes, well, I'll get it at the fuel stop. And I said, no, you need to check it now, because the guys have been living on the bus for 24 hours. Sure enough, he opens the bay up, and there it is, woof, all over the place.
Packed,
and I said,
falling out.
I said, see, this is what you got to be proactive.
You wait 5 more hours, and that thing's like overflowing into the front lounge.
And you know, when you do that, when you come to a truck stop to get fuel, you know, if you're pulling a trailer, walk around, reach down, check the wheel bearings, see if they're hot. Just, you know, walk around your coach, take a look. You know, if your windshield needs to be washed, you got to wash your windshield. You just got to be proactive to make the job easy for yourself. You know, just think ahead, do things that make it easier.
Yeah, the more, like kind of going on what you were saying, is the more you take care of like the little things, the less you're going to have to worry about it, and it's going to take you less time. I.e., what I used to do, I remember anytime, like at nighttime when I had to stop and take a leak, I'd go to the bathroom, and since I had to take a leak in the bathroom while I'm maybe dumping the tank or whatever, I would spray down and just might as well, I'm there. Take an extra minute and wipe it down, and then that way in the whole week when I have to do the major weekly cleaning, it's already pretty decently clean. So,
sure, if you stop to go to the bathroom, you go in there and then the trash is already full. It's like, empty the trash, throw it away, put a new bag in. You may be walking by the sink. There's a couple of dishes in there, and cups, like, you know, I got a cup.
Yeah. And don't you find, like, when you're on a tour and you do, like, what you were saying, like, you get out and say you're at a truck stop and you already drove, like, 4 or 5 hours, and maybe getting a little tired or whatever, and you get out and you do that walk around, you reinvigorate yourself, but you're actually doing some proactive things like checking the bearings, or if you're not pulling a trailer, at least you're walking around checking your lights, looking for leaks. And so actually, a lot of times you can catch like a bad fan belt or something in the main motor, as long as you just open and check it. It's all about being proactive.
Yeah. The bus will actually talk to you if you listen to it. I mean, when you're walking around, I mean, you walk back there and you hear something going squeak, 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 squeak. You go like, oh, it's maybe a belt, or maybe a pulley.
Or a bearing.
Or a bearing or something. I mean, if you really listen to the bus, it'll actually talk to you. You know what I mean?
That's why I like assigning coaches. Like here at Pioneer, when I came in the office, I hate slip seating, because then you're taking other people's problems all the time, and guys would just drive it for 5 weeks and then and they wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
But if you're actually assigned it, you take a little bit of ownership. But it's not just taking the ownership, it's actually learning, like what you were just saying. The bus starts to talk to you, so you kind of know how she's reacting. And if you've been in a bus for a year, or a year and a half, or even 8 months, you can start to figure out its little quirks. And
you know if it, you got to check your oil, the generator, stuff like that. I mean, that's stuff you should do pretty regular anyways. But if you get to know your bus, you know if it's an oil burner. You just get to know it. And the one thing I really hate is when a new driver hops in a bus that somebody just drove. And I'll go around with them if I'm there, and you open the bay up and there's empty antifreeze jugs, empty oil jugs, just junk that drivers just leave behind.
Right. Okay.
I just tell the driver, just throw that away. You got to make the bus your own. This is not your crap. This is garbage. That's garbage. You don't need that. I mean, I don't even know why that mop is in there.
Right. Yeah.
Just get rid of it. It wants to be clean, and actually, drivers that leave their bus should clean the bays out.
They should.
They should.
Yeah. Sometimes what ends up happening, like in my world of like the Rubik's Cube, they don't have time because it's just like leasing. We might have a breakdown and all of a sudden something flipped, and you're going to get some other guys' things on there. For the most part, we try and get them to pull off, but a lot of times the drivers will pull their toolbox, but they'll leave a lot of like what you just mentioned.
If you see a half a dozen empty antifreeze jugs, that may be a sign that something's going on.
Oh yeah, you might want to go check the coolant.
You might want to take a look at the
is there
the
a coolant leak or
there might be something going on, or if there's 4 or 5 empty oil jugs.
Well, that was a good point about the punch log too. It's like when you get new guys, it's really look at that punch log, and even the veteran guys is always look at your punch log, especially when you're switching buses, or even if it's your own bus and maybe you put something in and the bus sat for 2 weeks and now you're coming back. Make sure they hit everything on that punch log, and maybe even add something. That's why we ask people to come in a day early so that you can actually. And when the shop is open, so that you're not in on a Saturday, leaving Saturday at midnight, and now you found something and someone's got to come in, and now you're even waiting for those people to come in.
Yeah.
It's like, just being proactive. What other stuff would you have for like new guys? You got like any other new guy stories? New guys on a tour? Like I know we had, here's my phone buzzing, but we had like new guys going into catering or going up to hang with the band, or I think you had.
I've had a few that drivers say hey, can I go to the show and stuff, and if you're on multiple dates, you can go to the show, but basically you're paid to do a job out there, and it's not to really come out and watch the show. It's to get the client from point A to point B safely. It's the other thing I hate is social media. I mean,
that's a good
I don't
point,
like it when I see drivers taking pictures and they're going to post them on their social media about
Instagram
a tour,
or whatever,
Instagram. I think that is not a good thing to do. I mean, I think it's just.
I don't mind the bus pictures, but when you start getting banned and you start letting them know who you're driving, I have an issue with that. But if it's like a picture of the Rocky Mountains in your bus and it's a really nice sunset and something, that's cool. Just stay in the Rockies.
But some people cool. they look. I'm out with so and so. I'm out with this. That, any kind of personal information about a tour.
There's a confidentiality that goes along with this industry, and that's the other thing we have to learn to teach these new guys. Is like, when you're driving artists like Prince or etc., you never tell them. Even at hotels, I wouldn't even tell them who I was coming in with.
No,
I just said a high-profile client,
and
That's I need to know where your loading dock is because we're coming in through the loading dock. You, as a driver, and that's a good point too, is being proactive and taking it upon yourself. Your job isn't just holding a steering wheel and being safe. That is part of it, but the other part of your job is, calling the hotel ahead of time or doing things like going to Google Maps and looking, and like if you're going into Montreal, Canada or something, and you've never been there, well, go Google street level and zoom around and see where you're going like the day or 2 days before you even have to do that roll.
I always tell people that come out, check to do their homework and look at their routing on their GPS, but look at different ways to come into a town, to familiarize yourself with the streets and stuff, because you come in, the street may be closed and you may have to go a different way. But don't wait till the last minute when you're in the runner van or you hop in your seat and you're trying to figure out how to get to the next venue.
That's a no-no.
You need to get to your hotel, take 15, 20 minutes to sit down and look at it.
Yep. And it'll alleviate your stress level too.
That's right.
Especially you're rolling into New York and you're going like, ah. But if you're prepared, then you don't have that factor. You're just kind of like, okay, I remember. Oh, there's that Dunkin' Donuts. It's the next light, and now I make my right.
You can never. You should. That's the biggest thing. I mean, I'm just as guilty as the next person who's waiting to the last minute. Maybe that just comes with lots of years on the road. You think you know everything. You think you know everything, but then you come in and you go like, oh shit, what the hell's that? Where the hell am I now? I still get mixed up. I mean,
and the other thing that I wanted to say, never get mad. Forgive yourself. That's what I want to say. Don't get mad at yourself. Don't get mad. Get better. Forgive yourself. A lot of times you'll be driving and some guy will be sitting in the jump seat and you get in this deep conversation and you just keep on going and you missed your turn. And then you're going like, oh shit, don't get mad. And then just go to the next. And usually Murphy will give you you'll have exit after exit after exit. But when you miss your exit, it's like 18 miles later.
That's right. That's right. Which has happened to me before.
Which just don't get mad. Just, hey, it's part of the role. It's part of the thing. But learn from it. Like next time when you have the GPS and, Buddy Boy's over there babbling about his drinking habit and whatever the girls that he were backstage, you can just keep, look at your I got to turn in like 2 miles. Okay. Hey, buddy, give me a second, and then that way you can at least you're consciously aware of it. But learn to forgive yourself when you do that and just flip around.
No, I've just started a new thing with...
Always be safe.
I just started a new thing when I'm coming into town or getting ready to back into someplace with a trailer and stuff. And there's always somebody that wants to come up front. And now I've just told them, I said...
You're my spotter.
Either go be a spotter or could you please go back in the bus while I need to concentrate. Because a lot of times they're just trying to be friendly or they'll stand in the wheel or be in front of the mirror. And it only takes a second to bump into something. And trust me, I know. I've been there a few times.
Well, my thing's always been like if I'm backing up, and this is what I tell everyone when I'm training them too, never step on the fuel pedal. Just let idle take you in a back. Because if you ever hit anything and you're just going in idle and you're feathering the brake, you ain't going to do much damage. You would just be like a little, it won't move anymore. Ooh, it must be something in the way. So it's better to do that. And it's even like taking off. It's like I always tell drivers, you want to be real smooth, just let the idle take you through. Who cares what the people are trying to get around you, whatever, let them do their thing. Just your job is the people that are paying you, which are the people that are trying to sleep or they're standing up and trying to take a leak, and you're the one that has to clean it if they miss.
And then another thing I've been doing is when you're pulling the trailer is on your off ramps when it says 35 miles an hour, basically you should be 10 miles below that with a bus and a trailer. I mean, that's all for an automobile, those speeds. So we should be 5 to 10 miles under that. And, and start early to prepare for your off ramp. You try not to come in too hot,
as you do this, and especially to the rookies out there, you'll learn the little tricks. Hopefully you'll get put on multi-bus tours with veterans like Smitty, but you'll learn like little tricks of like, turning on the generator and running your roof airs when you're going into a fuel stop so you turn off the bus airs. Learning like, especially, and even doing that when you're dumping so that the smell isn't coming back in. Learning about the 10 Mississippis, like when you're changing lanes to do it nice and smooth. Running in the hammer lane sometimes a little more just because it's less bumpy. And at night times learning to carve a little better as well. But obviously you always have to be aware of your surroundings. It's that old Smith system of checking the mirrors every 5 seconds and looking, always scanning, and that's part of the gig. And also, the biggest thing I would stress is you don't have to love everybody, but you can be kind to everybody. Doesn't matter who it is or if the guy's being belligerent or whatever, you can still be kind to people. So just learn to be kind and do your job as a professional, really, right?
Yeah. If somebody's bitching at me, I just keep my mouth shut. Silence is really a good thing, because then they don't know what you're thinking.
Right.
So if you don't answer back, they're going to be wondering, like, what's he thinking of me?
Right.
And usually they'll come up and go, hey, sorry about that.
Yeah, and if you don't want to talk to someone, pretend you're removing earbuds.
Yeah,
it's like, what was that?
You're just in your own little world up there.
There's a beauty of that, and that's sort of like what I miss a little bit, is like that 3 a.m. pocket or 4 a.m. pocket when everybody goes to bed and it's just me and like Sirius XM or audio. I used to love audiobooks. So it'd just be, once they left, then it's the audiobook goes in and I'm good for another 6-7 hours of go to sleep.
No, it's a good time. I mean,
it's a cool gig, actually.
There's a lot more traffic on the highway these days with trucks and stuff. I mean, when I first started driving, you'd leave a city and there'd be nobody out there, going across the desert, and you watch the sun come up or the sun go down, and it's pretty nice.
So you've noticed a big difference in the last 10 years?
Yeah, there's almost as many semi-trucks as there are automobiles on the road.
Wow.
You figure a semi-truck is 10 cars.
Yep.
So they're taking up that much space.
Yep.
When you go
but you want to know something, that's actually a good sign of the economy. Because when the trucking is moving, the economy is actually moving, and transportation and delivery is happening. Because, if a country hits a recession or something, you'll notice less trucks on the road. But at this point, when you see more traffic, then it's actually economically is a good sign.
Yeah, I mean...
and especially for us, like when we hit COVID and we were like dead in the water, and then 2021, we were actually getting some traction. And 2022, where we're sitting now, has it been insane? Like I've
seen a lot of coaches on the road at night. A lot of them pulling trailers, so they're doing the smaller venues, but it's definitely a lot more.
How have you noticed, like in the shows and stuff? Are they're
doing good?
People coming out?
Yeah, people want to come out. The festivals are really good.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the ones.
All right, talk about a festival. Like, what about what's the tricky nuance of, like, say you're in an arena? We already know you're going down, parking, underneath, and working with the trucks, because that'd be another thing with rookies of like learning to work and play well with the truck, especially when you're on a multi-bus tour.
Yeah, you want to get to know the lead truck driver or the stage manager for the headline act. Yeah. Especially if you're the opener and you got a trailer, you could approach him and say, "What time do you want me here?"
Right.
And he might say, "I don't want to see you until afternoon time."
Yeah.
And that's all you got to know. And with the festivals, get as much information as you can. Ask the tour manager if you got phone numbers to call.
Right.
Look at your GPS, look at the satellite picture. Maybe this is gate A, you want to come in, see how it goes.
And it's always good to have a phone number and a contact, especially someone on the ground. Like I know when I work Bonnaroo, even the buses that are coming in for shows and stuff, it's always good to have the main contact of whoever's coordinating backstage, just so you can even like call them and just touch base. Hey, we're coming in.
Yeah, absolutely.
We just got through security and we're getting ready to come in, and doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah. The tour managers, have gotten a lot better over the years. I mean, they give you a lot of information now, where in the early days, the driver had to do all that stuff. We didn't have GPS, we didn't have cell phone. We had an atlas you had to read, and a calling card, and the tour manager would just give you an address, and you go like, "Do you know how to get there?" And he goes, "No, do you?" And I go, "No, I don't, but I'll figure it out."
Yeah. I totally remember those days, like A32, and you're going like across, and okay, here it is. And
so nowadays, I mean, with the cell phone, the GPS, there's really no excuse not to have the information, or not to get lost. I mean, really. Yeah,
there actually is no excuse for it nowadays.
You can make up all the excuses you want, but I mean, you got the technology right there.
So let's say, okay, and we'll wrap this up a little bit, but So we finished the tour. You've done all these things. You know, da da da. Now you drop people off. So like let's say last show, new guys. Here's something that you can expect on a last show. We could use Dave as an example. They're doing a show in, say, Indianapolis, and they're getting ready to finish, and you guys got to come back whenever the show goes down, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, whatever. And more than likely, they're going to want to be dropped off in an airport and stuff. So run that scenario.
Well, you know, usually the last couple of days of a tour is always the most hectic. You know, people are packing up their stuff. Some people get it done early. Some people wait till the last minute.
Yeah.
All depends. Then there's always something left behind.
Always.
So, you know, you show up, you're going to either want to go to the airport, like airport hotel mostly. You drop them off, you say your goodbyes and stuff. And what I usually do is, as they're unloading their luggage, I'll walk through the bus and take a look in the bunks.
Right.
Just to make
like
sure, like,
lift up the mattresses.
Jacket, it might be a computer. You know, be surprised. People have left computers behind. You know,
cell phones too.
Cell phones, just walk through, you know, and usually take your time leaving, you know, because you always get the phone call when you're about 40 minutes away.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like,
I
can't find my phone.
Yeah.
I think I might have left it in my bunk.
Yeah.
And that's when you got to turn around and come back. I mean, that out of 10 times, it probably happens, you know,
and then
six out of 10
if it's
times.
anything that's like contraband, throw it out. Done. Gone. See you later, alligator.
That stuff there. You
gone.
know, and then it's really weird when you're getting when I'm getting paid to drive, I can drive forever. But when a tour is over, usually I drive about 50 miles outside of town. And pull over and go to sleep if you can, you know.
Well, which is nice because you have your own hotel on wheels rolling with you.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And my thing is, I always clean my bus before I really start deadheading back to Nashville because I don't like sleeping on a dirty bus. I mean, I'll strip the sheets down, fold the comforters up, you know, make sure the trash, all that stuff. Just so I'm going to be living on the bus for 3 or 4 days. I want it kind of comfortable.
That's what I used to like to do is like tidy it up so that it's now I'm treating myself to a clean hotel room.
Exactly. I mean,
so to speak,
Even though you get hotel buyouts, I mean, we all sleep on the bus to make the extra money. But I mean, I'm not.
So when do you do your punch log? Do you wait until you're kind of you dropped, you cleaned up, you roll, you take a nap or whatever?
The best way to do your punch log
is while you're going all the time.
No, as soon as something goes wrong, put it on the punch list. Immediately.
As you're going
Now, I don't do that. I'll write it down on a piece of paper, a little notepad, and then I'll do it near the end. But really, the best way to do it is if something's going on, go right into your phone. It's right there. Put it in right away.
That's actually a good point.
And, you know, at the end, you can edit it. Like, you know, all of a sudden, maybe this problem isn't happening anymore.
Right.
So you can...
Or it's like, hey, I fixed the drawer.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, fine now.
Yeah, I mean, one bus company I worked for, they had a separate book. And anything a driver did on the bus, changed the light bulb, front mount, adjusted the door hinge over here. You know, I worked on the generator, blah, blah, blah. They had a complete list. And the reason why they did that, the owner used to say was, when I decided to sell the bus, I got a really good maintenance list of what has been done to my coach.
That's smart.
You know? So
that's pretty smart.
And they would look through to see if the driver was actually doing anything. You know what I mean?
No, I get it.
You know, kind of, maybe a little bit of
So do you think you, like, over the years, just kind of built up your tool chest?
Yeah, you know what to bring and stuff. I mean, for tools
So for
and stuff,
a rookie, what would we say? Someone new getting into this, just check with a veteran and look, or check with the shop and get the main stuff that you need.
I always tell the new guys, I said, the best thing to do is to watch, you know, and to listen. You know, you watch other drivers. If you're on a multi-bus tour with drivers that have been around, you know, you pick up little things that they're doing, like, oh, that's pretty cool. It makes it easy. But you want your basic tools. I mean, because you are going to do some work. You know, I find the best tool is the multi-screwdriver. The
Yeah.
one with the Phillips and the
Phillips
regular,
and the
because you can
Roberts
tighten
and
you
the-
can tighten up the screws on the door,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
cabinets and stuff.
I know some drivers, like I myself used to carry some air tools with me.
Yeah.
And they were, have the connection near the
Yeah.
back. And it was just really good for changing, especially when I needed an impact wrench for taking trailer tires, changing them up.
Yeah.
And had the little ramp where you bumped it up
Yeah.
and you could do it, literally change a trailer tire in probably 10 minutes
Yeah.
and be rolling down the road.
We just did that there.
Yeah.
I have the little yellow ramp,
Yep.
and I just bought an electric,
Okay.
a cordless
Yep.
impact,
Yep.
and it was like, brr, 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 brr.
Awesome. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Anything to make it a little, tools are very important, because anything that can make it a little easier for you to do.
that's to
makes
being the
money.
proactive.
Yeah.
I mean, when I'm pulling a trailer,
Uh-huh.
I carry air hoses.
Mm-hmm.
So if I show up and a trailer tire is low on air, I can hook into the bus system
And
and I can fill it up. And the same way you can also do your main tires on your bus.
Yep.
If you're low, you get 120 psi's.
Yep. Out
So
of the,
you can do your
Chamber.
steer tires or your drive
Yeah.
tires if they're low.
see, these are good little
There's just stuff that
points. Yeah.
you're gonna have, like the impact gun is right,
Mhm.
or get a good what do you call it? The regular old style
Old stuff. I
wrench.
go with the impact.
Yeah, the impact is better. But get a regular tool set with
Yeah.
some 3/8 drive, 1/2 inch drive, because you're gonna work on your generator, change the oil and stuff.
Yep. You're investing in yourself and your
Yeah.
career is really what
You kind of get to know
Yeah.
what you need after a while, and you look at, when you're hanging around with other drivers and they open
Yeah.
up their bay, they go, oh,
Yeah.
you got a nice toolbox there, you know?
Well, and that was another thing. Like when you open up the bays, I remember one of my pet peeves was always like the generator bay, where guys would literally be coated, and I'd be
oil.
like, why aren't you just spray it with some gunk
Yeah.
and then rinse it out? And if you did that every week or every 2 weeks, all your bays
That's
are going
right,
to be
that's
clean
right.
all the time.
Right.
It's just proactive.
I actually hit it at the shop sometimes. I mean, the
Yeah.
mechanics are great, but we have gray Formica
Uh-huh.
panels.
Yeah.
And I always get the bus back and there's greasy paw prints.
Oh, so you can see where. Yeah.
Well, they got. I'm glad they service the generator and stuff, but I clean it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just stuff like that. I mean, you
Yeah.
clean as you go, and it always stays looking nice.
Yeah, and if your main engine stays clean too, you can always be proactive where you can see leaks and drips
Yeah.
and.
That's why you
things that-
keep it clean.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
No, they great point. So yeah, when you're a rookie or you're getting into this industry, you learn from veterans, you learn from pros, and you learn by asking questions and observing.
yeah. I've seen some older buses out there from different companies that
They're pretty nice.
they open up the generator bay and it's like spotless.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, this is like a 10-year-old bus, but man, it looks like brand new on the inside and stuff like that. I mean, that's just different companies and stuff, or drivers that when you're with a bus, you get assigned to it for 3 years.
Yeah.
So it becomes yours. And that's what I always think as a bus, like it's mine.
Mm-hmm.
This is my bus.
And take pride in
And
your
take
ride.
pride in it, try and keep it clean and just keep it nice. That's all.
Awesome.
I mean,
And doing that should translate into being nice to the clients too. So
yeah. Well, I always think when I'm driving, I'm always listening in the back.
Yeah.
I mean, I can hear them open the door and go in the bathroom and stuff. I don't have the music up very
Too
loud.
loud, yeah.
I mean, I got it just loud enough to hear, but I can hear it. But I'm always listening in the back because another thing I usually do is when you leave a venue,
Mhm.
I always drive slow, like for the first hour. If people are up in the front lounge, they're unwinding from the show, so you just take it easy. If the speed limit's 65, maybe I'll just drive 55 for an hour. Then they start to go to bed, then you get on it.
Once
then
they're sleeping, it's
you go. And then when you come into town, if you hear people starting to get up, you back out of it, take it easy, getting into town. It's just little tricks like that.
And that's a little trick too, timing stale lights. If the light's green long enough and you're coming up, guess what? It's probably going to go yellow soon.
Yeah.
So just lay off and see, until you get to that no return, and then
That's it.
Then go into it. Yeah.
The biggest complaint with most groups is hard braking
Yeah.
and acceleration.
Yeah.
and cornering. So speed.
Yeah.
And those are the once you're going down the highway,
Yeah.
you're pretty good. But it's when you come into town
Yeah.
that separates.
I usually like to call that wax on, wax off. You get that ability to, not just on the steering wheel, but the whole drive.
Yeah.
Especially when you're coming into a city and it's morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, you're coming up to the venue and all that business traffic's in front of you and stuff. Just that's the time to really be patient.
Yeah.
Just like,
it can be hard when you've driven all night.
Yeah.
And you come in and trying to,
when you hear someone get up, just say, "Hey, can you give me coffee, man?" Coffee black.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, it's
all
I
good.
mean, it all comes with, with time and stuff, and if you want to take the time to learn all these things.
Yeah.
I mean, if you just want to hop in a bus and just drive it and not really.
You'd probably be in the truck driving industry.
Yeah, I mean,
because
but
you don't have people. And that's the thing with the insurance industry and this. If you're out there and you're actually wanting to get into this industry, a lot of the insurance companies, you have to have 2 years of experience, i.e. you'd have to be 2 years in a bus or commercial, at least have your commercial driver's license for 2 years. And once you are able to, get into with an entertainer bus company, is be patient and pick up as much as you can learn on this so that you can be successful and you can get assigned your own bus at some point too.
Yeah. I mean, I've been doing it a long time, and
Yeah.
I still enjoy the work. I still enjoy meeting people and stuff, and I still take a lot of pride in my work. I try and do a good job. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. I mean, a lot of people aren't cut out for it. I mean, you may do it for a couple of years and just go like, I've had enough. But I've been banging around with it now for almost 40 years.
Yeah. You got to love people.
Yeah.
And you got to, that's why, like when I was saying about the 2 years, is the insurance companies look at it as we're hauling precious cargo, which we are.
Yeah.
Anything with a P endorsement or passenger, you're hauling precious cargo. And if you're hauling precious cargo, you have to have a heart that cares or has empathy and the ability to be kind to other people. And that's what's going to make you a really good entertainer coach.
Yeah, we haul live cargo.
Well,
not just boxes. So when you're on the highway and the truck drivers are hauling ass, doesn't mean you have to keep up with them.
No.
You got to remember, they're just hauling boxes.
Yeah.
We got live cargo. And, you just, sometimes when the speed, like I say, speed limit is 65 and you're doing 55, don't worry about what they're thinking.
Yeah.
You just do your job. You're giving them a safe ride. This is the speed I want to go.
Yeah.
They can go around me.
Exactly. You look after the people. And I'll end it with this. I love to say TCB from Elvis, taking care of business, and TCC, which is taking care of your client. And with that being said, if you ever want to get in the industry, start researching, look at videos and read some books on it and improve yourself. Be better.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for coming
anytime.
in on my
anytime.
CDL Platinum. Here you go, baby.
Yeah. All right.